13th of September 2023. This news flash, it could actually have been a what the fuck moment, but let's keep it as a news flash. But it is insane news. And you need to think about the things that I'm going to show you. I'm not going to embroider on many of it, but look at the principles involved here. I'm going to start off with this. South Africa to join hands with China to build a research base on the moon, reported by News 24. The article heading says, SA to join hands with China to build a research base on the moon. Representatives of the space agencies of China and South Africa have signed a memorandum of understanding to cooperate on a project to build a research base on the moon. I read it, and trust me, my first thought was, what the fuck is this? This is the same South African government that can't build a proper shithouse, and not a imaginary shithouse, a real shithouse. They can't build that, but they want to go and build a research base on the moon. What the fuck is that? Doesn't people understand how ridiculous this sounds? This government cannot maintain railway lines. They cannot maintain the power network. They cannot maintain roads. They cannot maintain schools. They cannot maintain hospitals. No, but they will build a joint research base on the fucking moon. What the hell are we dealing with? The level of idiocy astounds me. And what is more troubling is the population eats it up. And then you get this from Phumlani Majosi. Energy analyst Chris Yellen said that not a single generation unit at the Kusile power station is generating electricity, despite an investment of 233 billion rand and 15 years of construction. Read that slowly and let that sink in. And this is a fucking government that want to join in the effort to build a research base on the moon. But I know what is going to happen there. The budget for that research base is also going to go over the moon. Will never ever result in anything constructive. The money will just evaporate. And then there's this tweet. Eskom stage 7 load shedding headache. Eskom hit stage 7 load shedding twice last week despite expectations that power cuts would ease with lower demand. That was what the Daily Investor reported, and this guy tweets. It's time for Ramaphosa to pack his bags and go back to his day job. Help build bridges. How can you take a civil engineer and make him the Minister of Electricity? Seriously stupid. Well, I can echo that. Seriously stupid. But that is the South Africa we have. Cadre deployment made very sure that everything will be fucked. Everything. And then there's more on the electricity. Angriest Boer tweets, billions spent on Kusile power station and absolutely nothing was gained. Cadres must eat. Johannesburg is in the dark, numerous blocks without power for over 10 hours at a time due to tripping and theft. The end is nigh. I completely agree with him. It is my opinion that we are dealing with a failed state, but they're in denial about the fact that they failed. But the reality on the ground is simply there for everybody to see. The railroad gone, the roads gone, schools gone, health services gone, SASSA is hanging on by its fingernails, and that's the problem. Those are the realities. But the EFF can chant, kill the boer, kill the farmer. Meanwhile, they're busy dying of hunger, and they say nothing about that. But as they say, in the advertising stuff that we see on the TV, but wait, there is more. Business Life reports, SARS sounds the alarm on tax take as corporate collections plummet. Tax collections are 22 billion rand short of the first 5 months, and data suggests a full year shortfall of about 50 billion. And Tian tweeted, SARS sounds alarm on tax take as corporate collections plummet. And then with all the laughing and clown faces there. Well, what did SARS expect? What? You can trash the small and medium businesses, use the BEE instruments to destroy them, make a lot of laws to keep minorities out of the business sector, which incidentally, the minorities are the biggest job creators. And here comes the kicker for those idiots in charge. The more people that work and earn salaries, the more taxes you can collect in the pay as you earn and on the VAT wherever they spend those salaries. But that is too complicated for their bird brains to really connect the dots. They cannot. And then we have this absolute gem. Business Tech report, demands for 4,500 rand per month grant in South Africa amid massive budget crunch. And Keno tweeted, graduates are seeking a 4,500 rand. Ha! Who's that here? 4,500 rand per month grant for unemployment. If that degree actually meant anything, they would be able to acknowledge that grants, BEEE, and state sponsorships of useless degrees are the very reason they are unemployed. Then add with that, I've seen the reports that 3-year degrees takes an average of 5 years for students to complete. But I've got another theory and I have spoken about it. This clever ANC is confronted with this massive unemployment figure, which is an embarrassment, a global embarrassment. And now they take a big portion of that unemployed and they hide them in the universities and they fund them with an AFSA's grants, subsidies, gifts, what the hell you want to call it. But the reality is they hide the unemployed in the universities so that they don't feature on the unemployment numbers. Quite devious, I would say, but clever plan. Now the problem is that those unemployed hiding in the universities is costing a hell of a lot more than what a simple unemployment subsidy or grant would cost the government. But they're out of the unemployment number. And then we have this problem now with all these budget cuts and so. The things that are absolutely sucking the life out of the budgets is this breeding scheme that the ANC is financing. That thing is now totally out of control. Girls of 12-year-olds starts breeding. So the population explosion is enormous. And we sit with an economy that is stuttering on between 0.01 and 0.03% growth. So, what intellectual genius cannot make the calculation and see that these unbridled breeders will always outperform the economic growth? And worse, they're not only outperforming the economic growth, they are burdening everything. Health services, education services, everything. But in a few years' time, the results from the breeding start streaming into the unemployment queue because the economy is not growing, so jobs are not being created. Oh yes, and I just don't forget, we're not allowed to create jobs. We, the minorities, we're not allowed to create jobs. We must not employ people working in our garden or people working in our houses. No, that must not happen, because according to the EFF and some ANC members, it is demeaning for people to do garden work or to do housework. So they should rather be unemployed. That is what the EFF will prefer, that all these maids and garden people and so, they must rather be unemployed and be happy. And how must they live? But again, the population, they see what these politicians are doing to their lives, but they just accept it, and fuck knows, they go and vote for them again. So, Moses 6 verse 6, stupid people must suffer. And then we get to this one. Count Klepto tweeted, "This Gogo's entitlement is beyond anything I've ever seen, even outdoing the Kennedys. She has defied every law and ethic and doesn't even get a slap on the wrist." And that is what it is. And I want to add, this woman was the one that during the pestilence, when she started locking businesses down, said that this is now the ideal opportunity to rectify the imbalances in the business sector. So they destroyed, I think it was 1.4 million small businesses. That is the latest numbers that I read. So they destroyed that 1.4 million businesses to rectify shit. But no new businesses are being created by the majority, this protected majority that has got 117 laws protecting them against 4% of the population. A clear declaration of, we are weak, please protect us. That is what all this BEE and affirmative action shit is about. Black people crying out and publicly stating, we are weak, please protect us. We are only 96% of the population, we need protection. Fucking weaklings. That's what they are. And this government is fostering that weakness. This government does nothing to train the people and make sure that they acquire skills to be productive citizens. No, they coddle them up and tell them to sit in their kaya and wait for the end of the month for their SASSA. How's that working out? Well, look at what happened this month to the SASSA payments. So I'm not going to keep on this topic, because the fact of the matter is, we are sitting with a failed state. Even the WEF acknowledges it, but the population in South Africa is in denial. And I just want to add something here as we're talking about business and things like that. There is a guy that is trying to give the consumers somewhere to go and check before you appoint a solar installer, because we know there are so many fly-by-nights and they do crap jobs and then people's houses burn down. He has got a website. It is called Solar PV Reviews, and the URL is at solarpvreviews.com. I have it on the screen for you in text. Go and give it a visit and see. There at least you can check the installers, the credibility of those installers. And on that note, please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.